He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yes, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Lord, you are our shepherd. And at this point, when most of us still have most of our strength, we call upon you and thank you for whatever rest we've been able to obtain this summer, whatever good start that we've had as the semester has begun. But there's also sickness going around, and there are also heavy hearts. And we think about not only our own journey, but those alongside of us, those around campus and the community and even the world. And God, on their behalf, as we think about your many provisions, as we think about not only your presence with us, but your generous supply and your resourcing of our every need, we think about the ways that you provide rest, that you guide us in the right paths, that no matter what valley we're walking through, or those that we love, or those that we're praying for or walking through, God, you're with them. Fear is a reality, but it does not have to define ours. As we look to you and lean into you, as you spread that table, not only in comfortable places of life, but right in the presence of those who might otherwise, or those situations that might otherwise seek to steal, kill, and destroy, you give abundant life. And as the mercy and the goodness as they follow us, as they chase us down on this journey, we look to you. And now we pray on not only on our behalf, but on behalf of others as well. Lord, continue to give and to provide these things for us. Lord, give us a voice that we may say this. And
Oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy powerful rise, but who never ceases. Then sings my soul, then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art! How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. When Christ shall come, when Christ shall come, with shout of acclamation, with a shout of acclamation, and me, what joy shall fill my heart. Then I shall bow, then I shall bow in humble adoration, and they'll proclaim, my God, how great thou art. You say it with us. This is my soul, my Savior. the only one who could ever say, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are and in your hand. In your hand the doors around me, and I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will build my life upon your love. It is not be shaken. There is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me.
Thanks, guys. I'm Fred Burnett, chairperson of the Department of Christian Ministries. In our opening Department Chapel every year, we try to give useful, practical, and important information, particularly about things that you can take advantage of on this year internships and other things. I just wanted to make one quick comment about scholarships. Most of them are awarded almost automatically, but two of them, and our two biggest, you have to apply for. Billy and Pearl Toon Smith scholarship usually averages around $5,000 and is given to a graduating senior, basically to use as that recipient chooses to start their ministry. There's very few, if any, strings attached to that. It's a nice gift. The deadline for applying for that is November 15th. The other one is the Donald Courtney Scholarship. It varies in amount. But again, you have to apply for that, and the deadline on that is not until April 24th, so you got time. But be thinking about those. The Courtney Scholarship is open to any major, basically, in the department. Oh, got to mention, there are sheets, front and back, explaining the criteria for both scholarships. To tell us about his internship this summer in Texas, most of you know Jake Jordan, and then he'll be followed by Dr. Alan Overstreet, who'll tell you how is the best way to access information on internships and other things.
Hello. I'm Jake. I'm a junior here, and this summer I completed all of my internship credits through a summer program. It's like a Church of God Texas summer program that you can talk to Burnett, Dr. Burnett, and other people about.
And you don't have to be.
Yes, true. You don't have to be Church of God, but you will be working at a Church of God church. And they give you a scholarship of $5,000 to do that. And that just goes straight to your student account. And then I got paid $100 a week for 10 weeks. 100. So a lot of money for ministry scholarships, I think. And then actually at the end of this, I'm going to leave time for questions and stuff, or if you have an of an internship that you you want to share, so think about that as I'm talking. Um, but yeah, so that was really amazing. It was really cool. It was very hot in Texas, but it was not humid, and it's way more humid here, and I hate it. Um, but it was really good. I went to Tyler, Texas, which is the rose capital of the world, apparently. So most, like 80% of roses that are touched somewhere in Tyler, Texas. So, and I worked with so my internship was helping a small elderly church that was like dying relaunch and become a thriving church again. You've heard of like church plants. A lot of people now are like revitalizing and restarting churches because church plants aren't enough, which is much harder than actually church planting, apparently. So I helped the new pastor, Ken, who was there about a year, for just 10 weeks, helping them to get some stuff, the technology, the different things. It was a very, very good experience. I got to meet with Dan Turner, who is the leading replanting of person right now. He did some doctoral work on that, and he's a church guy. So it was very good. A lot of networking. Got to network with other pastors and work with different groups in the area. Just really good experience for that kind of setting, but there's a lot of different kind of settings you can do your internship in. And Ken and I think this is typical of most internships, Ken and the congregation just welcomed me with open arms. They loved me because I'm the intern. They think that's cool. And I got the chance to preach 4 sermons, to lead the church for 2 weeks when the pastor was on vacation, to visit the hospital, do a couple hospital visits, be with Ken, the pastor, as he got a phone call about someone passing away and how that process went, and he called the pastor. Other things that I can't think of right now. So it was very good. Highly recommend internships in whatever you're thinking about doing. Like, I want to be a pastor at a church, at least for a while, so I'm doing that. I did that with my internship. Just find something. It was great. That's my story. And I guess the other thing to add too, besides just the actual internship portion of and the class portion and all that, just like the formation and the challenging things and the putting yourself in these situations, especially if we want to be pastors, if we want to be ministers in any way, whether that's in the institution, church or not, I found to be very helpful. Like, I left my home, my family, in a new culture where they said y'all. They didn't wear cowboy hats though, and I'm a little disappointed about that. But like, that was really good. I got to experience loneliness. I got to experience isolation, and I came out better for that. Now I can like talk with other people about their loneliness and isolation. I can better minister and love elderly couples. Right? I stayed with an elderly couple. One had Alzheimer's and was in a walker all the time. So it was just amazing. Highly recommend doing internships and taking advantage of them. And that's my spiel. Does anyone have any questions about my internship or about internships that I could answer, or experiences that they would like to share? That's, yes, there's no tax on that. It's straight $5,250 per semester. It's just like a scholarship. Yeah, non-marked bills. Yeah. Anything else? All right, cool. That's nice.
Thank you, Jake. You're probably wondering, well, now that I've heard about internships going, how can I have one of my very own? So Ryan is going to show us a little bit about that. I'm not going to tell you a whole lot about all the details of internships right now. I'm just going to tell you about how to find out, now we're on, how to find out about internship possibilities. This is a Canvas page that we put together about a year ago gets a fair amount of activity. I was looking at the analytics the other day. Maybe it's a few people looking a lot for positions, or maybe it's a lot of people looking. I don't know, but there's a fair amount of activity here. You'll see it up there. This is the semester number, and then SOTCM Aspire, so right up there. And then all these modules that follow. And if Ryan will go ahead and scroll down a little bit, he's our navigator. Thank you very much, Ryan. You'll see a lot of things about advising and so on. If you're a seminary student, by the way, where it says clinical pastoral education, there you'll find some information that will be useful to you when completing that requirement. One of the things that I really encourage you to do, the best way to find out what's in this page is just to get on it and start looking through, because I can't tell you what all the openings are for internships and other possibilities. There's some ministry opportunities that come our way that might not qualify as an internship because it may be a fairly limited role, but it may be a really useful role, and it might provide you with some ministry experience. Or, if you're a seminary student, meet a field education requirement in one of the courses that has such a requirement built in. So keep that in mind also. As you're looking through, when we get to the internships and open positions there, I've listed a note there that you will not find here everything you'll need about the syllabus, the learning covenant, other information like the internship manual. Internship documents are actually on the internship page. Now, here's a question of access. I mentioned getting into this is the best way to find out what's there and to make use of the resources. If you've declared a major in this department, or if you're a seminary student, you should be automatically placed on this page. Every now and then somebody gets missed, or if you are a Christian Ministries minor, you have an internship requirement, but you are not automatically added. The good news is that any SOTCM faculty member can put you on this page. So you don't have to look for anybody in particular. Just look for one of us and say, can you add me? And it's real easy to get you here so you have access. So please do that, because as Jake was mentioning a minute ago, internships in a place with which you are already familiar can be really valuable experiences. And stepping into a new place and getting accustomed to a new context and eating Texas barbecue and finding out that Earl Campbell is a native son, the Tyler Rose from Tyler, Texas. You just find out all kinds of things when you go to a place you were not before. And you develop relationships that can last a really long time. So please do that. Now, I'm going to switch over, or Ryan is going to switch over for us. This is the course page where you'll find specific internship requirements. I would encourage you to make a request of the internship supervisor for that academic year in the academic year in which you expect to do your internship. So you don't really need access to this if you're thinking it's going to be a year or two before I start thinking about that. But if you're thinking this summer you're going to do an internship, then ask me for access to this and I can provide it. Right now on that other page it says contact Dr. Overstreet, but given that internship supervision rotates among 2 or 3 of us, then that name will change. But there'll always be a name there and somebody can help you get what you need. All right, access, internship requirements, internship openings and opportunities. Last thing is, this is probably not the longest list on that first page, the Aspire page, but there are a few permanent openings. That is, churches and other service organizations contacting us, looking for graduates or current students, and it's an ongoing position. I would not call this just a sort of thing where we're a placement service, because we don't get that many requests. But we do get some, and so we post those, and that's useful to know about in case you're already thinking about ministry employment for the long term. Any questions about any of that before I hand off the microphone to the next person? Thank you very much.
So one of the great things about our department is that we offer a number of classes that go off campus, that are experiential classes. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my class. which is the best one on campus, of course. So I lead, it's a Trias trip that you can also take for credit, or you can just take the Trias trip if you'd rather just take the Trias trip. I lead a class called Backpacking with the Saints. It is on wilderness spirituality, and we spend a lot of time with the desert saints, but also with others who have gone into the wilderness. And we ask, what does going to the wilderness teach us about God? How do practices of being in the wilderness, things like simplicity and solitude and community, how do these things draw us closer to God along the way? So this is what it's about. I'm going to show a few pictures because they're really pretty. So we go out. It's not working. Do I point it that way? Ryan, you might be. So. All right, it's working now. Awesome. So we go out to the Adirondack Mountains. Adirondack Mountains are in upstate New York. It's a park 6 million acres big, which is bigger than most of New England put together. And we start out, we're going to base at a camp, a Reformed church camp called Camp Fowler, and we'll spend a few days canoeing in weather like that, we hope. Eating outside, hanging out on the beach, hiking. We'll go up some mountains, hopefully a high peak, perhaps something a little bit smaller, but some mountain hikes. We play a lot of hacky sack. Campfires in the evening. That's basically your classroom will be around a campfire. It doesn't get much better than that. With s'mores, you notice. We whitewater raft for a day, which is on the Hudson. Not the part of the Hudson that goes through New York City, the upper part where it's really clean. And then we hit the trail, and we'll spend 8 days backpacking and canoeing. So we'll backpack for 3.5 days, hiking through the woods. That's the first campsite you stay at. You can sleep in a hammock if you want. Also, you notice that's Laura Batts. She went on the trip, so ask her if you've got questions about how awesome it is. We have to hang our food in a tree so that animals don't eat it, and it's really fun. It's a group bonding exercise every night. You'll learn a little bit about maps and navigation. Everyone gets a chance to lead for the day and make all the decisions that aren't vetoed by your leaders. We eat super well. We have quesadillas, we have burritos along a river here, just on some rocks, hanging out. You learn how to build fires, all the sort of basic skills. This was our feast on one of the nights, so 7-course meal out in the wilderness. Sometimes it involves cheesecake. We eat well, feasting in the wilderness. They're really excited to be done with the hiking. And then we canoe for 3.5 days. There's a solo day between the two. So we do 3 days of hiking, we'll do a solo day, and then a switchover day, and then 3 more days of canoeing. And the solo day is between breakfast and dinner. You're out in a spot out in the woods, like not close enough to see each other, close enough to be heard if something goes wrong. But you're all set apart, so you've got solo time for the day. And it's a chance to reflect and pray and nap, and we spend a little bit of time being desert saints of a sort. And then we canoe on Long Lake, which you can tell is gorgeous. Sunsets are the best I've ever seen out there. Take naps while you're canoeing. We do have to carry around this waterfall, so you will put the canoe on your head for a mile. And we go swimming if it's warm enough. Sometimes it's warm enough and sometimes it's not. Some people go anyway. That's pizza making. We had pizzas, more canoeing, and then that's the sign of a great trip. So the trip is the first 2 weeks after graduation in May, so May 11 to 25. The cost at the Trias office is $995, so it's just shy of $1,000. And that is an all-inclusive cost. So some of the Trias trips say, well, you also have to pay for a meal a day or something. This is all-inclusive. Once you pay that, it's everything for the trip. You just have to have a pair of hiking boots. If you take the class, there is the summer tuition cost on top of that, whatever the summer tuition cost is. Questions about this? You should all want to go. It'll change your life. Right, Jake? Jake was on it too. So if you have questions from a student perspective, Jake can answer those as well. Yeah, great. This is annually, yeah, so every May. But it's great, and you should go. I think you're next.
I'm glad for the microphone. I'm losing my voice, which is why I really couldn't sing today, and why I sound like a really scrawny version of Barry White. But here we go. I am talking about two things. One is the community council, the School of Theology Christian Ministries Community Council, and the other is the urban ministry trip, which is, I guess, the counterpart of the opposite of the Adirondack trip. And I'll start with that just to say every other year, so not this coming summer, but the summer after. And this is for students who are in the School of Theology or in the undergrad department. Even students, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Dean, but that graduate that year can still take that class in that summer. So this is a 3-hour class. We go to Berlin, Germany. We just finished, we did a trip this past summer. We take 6 students. Application only. There's an actual endowment fund that's set up for this trip. So for a minimal cost, you get about 3 weeks in Berlin, and we look at the urban context, how to do ministry in that context, things that are going on in Berlin, in the Church of God with Pink Door Ministry, and the Neustadt Cafe, which is an affiliate kind of organization. And then we look at we try to exegete culture. This is a trip that Dean Hawkins put together a while back, and I was able to go with her this particular summer and learned kind of what we do on that trip and got to see it up close. I got to do it actually when I was in grad school. I got to work with the missionaries. I served with them, and so I saw it from that side, and this time I got to see it from the AU side, which is really fun. But that won't be this summer, but the summer after. So if you're interested in that, let us know. The great thing about the endowment is it keeps the cost down, but it actually offers you 3 hours course credit included in your the cost of the trip, which is unlike normal Tri-S trips for your summer experience. So it's a competitive thing. You have to apply, but it's a really great experience with the Phillips, Kelly and Rhonda Phillips over in Berlin. The other thing I want to mention is a bit more pressing, so you have to get it. It's not next summer or even this coming summer. It's right now. And that is, as you know, we have the new Commonplace, which is our new, basically SOTCM student hub. It's a place where we hope that you will be able to connect socially, spiritually, intellectually, and do all the things really that you can't do at the Wellness Center. You're welcome to do push-ups and sit-ups down there too if you'd like to finish off the wellness wheel, but that's your business. But that is a beautiful new space, and we want it to be used well. But that's space is a part of our plan for the School of Theology and Christian Ministries Community Council. We want to get a robust group of students going to kind of work on creating and fostering community, not just in the Commonplace, but outside. We have a number of students who have been meeting kind of on and off over the last couple of years, but what we'd like to do is set up a more permanent group that meets once a month. So if you have an hour a month to give to kind of help foster community and help really represent what do the students want with your major. Take ownership of your major or your degree program in the School of Theology. We're putting that together, and I know that some of you offered your names last year, and we weren't able to kind of formalize any kind of meeting group, but this year we're going to have a regular meeting. Please let me know that you'd like to be a part of that. This year, the big task, and I'll be honest with you, is kind of trying to come up with some kind of charter for the organization so that this is sustainable from the student perspective year after year. So if you're up for the challenge of putting together some kind of charter organization and maybe serving in a leadership capacity to hopefully foster or get ready elections for the next year, we'd love for this first group to really help us put down something lasting for groups to come. And then there'll also be the practical side. What do we do about coffee? What do we do about keeping things clean, changing things out downstairs? What looks good to you? What do you want to make sure we protect? That kind of thing. So, not to mention gatherings, socials, those kinds of things. So that's what I have to say. Just please come see me if you're interested in either of those opportunities, the trip 2 summers from now or SOTCM Community Council. All right? Dean?
I think I'm next. Some of you may already know that we have a special program that's called a 4+1. It is your undergraduate degree and an MDiv combined. You must onboard while you are an undergrad, either a freshman or a sophomore. You have to know, and this is for people that you know for sure you're headed for ministry and you really want to do your MDiv as well, because it's hard work. Many of your upper division see men in religion classes, instead of taking them in undergrad, you take the seminary level course. And both ATS and the Higher Learning Commission, which are the two accrediting agencies that accredit us, have approved this program. We do have several people who are a part of it now. You do have to come and talk to somebody like me or Dr. Burnett or Dr. Overstreet. You do need to come and talk to us about it. If you are particularly, it's hard. You have to take a full load. There's not going to be as much social time. But if you're wanting to get out and go and save some money, 2 years of tuition and lodging, then this might be something that you would enjoy. It's not for everybody, okay? But it is for some, and you are welcome to participate. If you have questions, let me know. Okay. If I've been told that there's time for questions. So if you have questions, actually questions about any of this, because I can pass the mic back to somebody else that's already.
I forgot to mention that my class does count for liberal arts, your upper level Christian ways of knowing class. You need that stuff.
And what better way to take it but hiking? Yeah. The urban ministry class also counts for a credit in both an undergrad class and a seminary class. You guys are really quiet today. Is this just way more than you want to absorb? Yes, ma'am.
Are the internships strictly just for Christian ministry majors, or are there some for other majors?
If you were to take the internship for credit, you would need the Introduction to Christian Ministry course as a prerequisite. And so you probably wouldn't do that unless you were a minor or a Christian Ministries major. And you probably wouldn't see the internship openings if you weren't on the page by virtue of being a declared major. Now, if something got posted out there and you just said, well, I'm going to pursue that, that's you and the site working out the details of that. And it would be an internship because that's what you're calling it, but it wouldn't be a departmentally recognized internship because it wouldn't be for credit. Right. Okay. So, yeah. It's all yours.
Well, thanks everybody for sharing that. We always end our departmental chapel with our great giveaway. This year the grand prize for 2 lucky students is to spend mid-fall break totally in Dr. Gilbert's Gonzalez basement. You've got it all ready for them, right, Gilbert? Very nice. It is. By the way, when are the other winners going to ever return to campus from your basement? You may want to call your parents and friends before you take advantage of that prize. But you'll be notified by email that you win that. Right now, we're going to have our great t-shirt giveaway. It's an original design. You can't find it anywhere else. Kimberly and Jessica did that, right? So, 5 lucky winners go with this. And the way we'll do it this year is I want to begin with Bob, my cat. We stay in touch even when I'm away from home. Yes, Bob. Bob is telling me that if you look third row under your seat, you should have a winning ticket. So there's something stuck under there, Bob said.
Looks like gum.
That's it. And a t-shirt. I think there's several different sizes there. Okay. All